In dementia units, former female school teachers tend to be able to make friends most easily because they keep up with their reading and their communication skills, and because of that they can make friends, and the overflow effect from their friendship makes a difference in the group. And it's important to make a friend if you possibly can, because it's a long day at a dementia unit, often getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning for showers, if not at least 7, to be at breakfast by 8. Then you've got the long day right through to dinner, 5 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock bed. So that's a good 13 hours that you're awake, and you're expected to remain awake. If you're not awake, you'll get a dig in the ribs from another resident saying, wake up, do something. So keeping awake and alert for this amount of time is a big effort. And if you've got a friend by your side having a cup of tea, it makes the time go by a lot more easily. And in fact, dementia residents spend a lot of time having cups of tea, cups of coffee and meals, half the day, if you can believe it. Because with breakfast, lunch and dinner, it always takes 10-15 minutes to get to the table and set yourself up, 10-15 minutes for the meal to arrive, then eating it, then getting it cleared away, finding your walker, getting back to the lounge. Everything takes at least 5 minutes to get from A to B in a dementia unit. So all of that's 3 hours gone in the day. And with your friend, when you're with your friend sitting there having your meal, it's a good topic of conversation to be able to ask if your friend's enjoying the potatoes, or do they like the dessert, or whatever the topic is of whatever they're eating. It's a good topic of conversation what you're eating. And so there tends to be more discourse at meals than anything else because of having something to talk about. And also with morning and afternoon teas, it's nice to be able to sit by your friend and have a cup of tea, very much like you've been sitting by your friends all your life having a cup of tea. Women enjoying that occupation, sitting down and having a cup of tea with a friend at a dementia unit is no different to what you've been doing all your life. For many women who like that activity, not so for men. No, it's very different for men in dementia facilities. They don't just like sitting down and having a cup of tea and talking, and they really do that, really. I mean, men like action and they like to be doing something, and they don't consider sitting down and having a cup of tea to be anything particularly meaningful. I mean, they might sit down, the men, and do a jigsaw puzzle together, or they might sit down and watch the news at night together on the TV, but that's about it. I mean, otherwise they just tend to roam around and walk around the corridors, you know, often asking what's next, what's happening. So it's much more settling for women in that way, because they can sit down with each other, have a cup of tea, join in the activities, often make and create, or the workshops, or the Netflix programs that are on, and they seem to be able to relax more easily with each other in the activities or watching TV or whatever activities at hand, and be at ease with each other. For the men, they seem to find it a lot more difficult. Granted, women are the majority, 70% women, often elderly women, and the men are the minority, but even so, some of the men will come and sit and watch the news. The occasional one will join in the activities, but there has to be a higher level of motivation for them to come. If they start to make friends with another lady, or there's some other particular topic that they like, but they won't just all come and sit like the women will and be together and be happy with that. So it's just different dynamics to look out for. Now with men are good at meeting and greeting women. And there are men at the unit, very friendly, charming, lovely men who will say good morning to the women each morning, and 1 or 2 lines, hello dear, how are you? And, perky sort of passing comments, which will pick the woman up. So sort of, what do you call it? Short-term solace, that's what I call it. Short-term solace comments the men will make to the woman, whether they're upset or depressed or just day-to-day greeting and meeting. But women will be there for the long haul. They'll be there for long-term solace. If their friend's upset, if their husband's died, for example, they'll sit with them all day if need be. And they do. They sit with their friend all day. And they don't get bored. They don't get tired of it. They don't get distressed. They're happy being with their friend. And indeed, the other women in the group who haven't necessarily got a special friend, but they make friends with the group, which almost seems to be as good as having a special friend a lot of the time. Most of the dementia resident women that join in the workshops are friends with the whole group and consider it to be such. So they don't mind who they sit by. And as long as they get that friendliness, that's the main thing. As long as they can generate friendliness and receive friendliness, then they'll feel part of the group and be happy and relaxed with that. It's quite interesting. I used to think that people needed to have a special friend to be settled and relaxed at the dementia unit. But actually, on thinking about it and observing, as long as the person had that friendly relations with the group, that's what makes the difference. The friendly relations, the smile, the inclusiveness, the accepting, the happiness to be sitting next to you, commenting now and then, friendly feelings. If the friendly feelings aren't there, that's when the isolation sets in, definitely and absolutely. If there's not friendliness, there's isolation, there's distance, then sarcasm can come in and there can be big difficulties. But as long as friendliness is there, with either one person as a friend or friendliness with the group, then the person can be relaxed and settled. It's heartwarming friendliness goes a long way. And the other thing is too the humour. Being in on the humour with the group, being able to have a good laugh with each other, with the activity that's going on, that also goes a long way to being able to feel part of the group. And dementia residents do have a good sense of humour because they are all in the same situation. They understand the dynamics of having to live together with so many people in such a really unusual situation, really at their age, to be all living together in one big room or one big unit. They get, once they're on the good side of the emotions, so to speak, and they're in a good mood, they've got very good humour. And once that starts happening, that definitely lights up the friendliness well and truly. So this is really the thing about being in a dementia facility. It's a long day. 6 or 7 in the morning to 7 or 8 at night, and you're expected to stay awake the whole time. And if you don't, you'll get a dig in the ribs from someone telling you to wake up. Now that's a big effort. You're eating a lot of sugar a lot of the time with morning and afternoon tea and desserts. It's often warm. It's always warm, at least in the lounge. It's often very warm. Warmth, sugar, and sitting around. After 2-3 hours, it's very easy to fall asleep. But oh no, the dear dementia residents make that effort all day to stay awake and keep alert. It's really a big achievement that they manage to do that. I mean, they don't go and have a sleep in the afternoon, as lots of other elderly people will do. They just stay awake in the lounge and carry on, because most of them prefer the company in the lounge. They much prefer to be in the lounge with each other. They're social. They don't like being in the bedroom on their own. I mean, it's not like a nursing home where lots of the residents in nursing homes do spend time in their room. And of course, in the hospital, there's many unwell people sitting in their rooms. But in the dementia unit, no, they all like to be in the lounge and being social. So that's why it's important for them to have friendships so that they can not just endure living in such a place with rigorous routine, but enjoy it and have a good quality of life, which is what these books are about, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon, soft copy, hard copy, and ebooks. So thank you for your interest and engagement and comments, and I appreciate the subscriptions. Please subscribe and pass on these links to others. Thank you.